Awesome.
When we raise the funds in pre-sale, uh, essentially we'll have the private sale, and then we'll have the public sale in the groups, and then we'll have the public sale on the website. And the as soon as the public sale on the website is over, um, we will add that liquidity to
Mm-hmm.
PancakeSwap, and then people can take their PREV tokens, because when they buy into the pre-sale, they immediately get a PREV token. They send
Yep.
say you send 500 BUSD to the swap page for the
Mm-hmm.
pre-sale, you're gonna get 600 PREV or whatever the exchange rate is. Now you have
Okay.
those PREV, and when the as soon as liquidity is added to the Rev token, you can now swap your PREV token for the real deal, like live Rev token.
Yep.
Then there's a 30-minute period that allows people to enter into the staking pools and into the farms, and essentially start referring each other. And this is where, if you have some sort of team structure or something like that, you would execute your referral program to get everybody referred and get everybody ready to go. You can still refer people after it goes live, but this gives you an opportunity to do that before the rewards go live. So
Yep.
this is important for L2, that we have this grace period, more so than L1, but it's still I feel it's still the most optimal way to launch a farm. So we have that 30-minute grace period that allows people to get prepared for the emissions to start.
Yep.
Um, Now I'm gonna go over to the farm here. Um, Actually, you can see my screen, correct?
Yep.
Or this is the pre-sale tab part. This is where you'll be able to send in BUSD and get PREV tokens.
Yep.
After the liquidity is added, this same page is where you'll be able to swap your PREV tokens for Rev tokens immediately after liquidity is added.
Same page.
Now,
Okay.
uh, there is a deposit fee. You can't see it unless I connected my wallet, but there's a deposit fee of
Okay.
4% on the farms. There's no
On all farms.
deposit, no, not on all farms,
Okay.
only on the non-core farms. For Rev WBB, Rev BUSD, and Drip BUSD, Drip is considered a core farm. There is no deposit fee. For all other farms, and we have a lot of them, there's a deposit fee. And this deposit fee is then allocated, instead of doing what basically every other yield farm does out there, and essentially monetizes the platform for the developers through the deposit fees. We are allocating these deposit fees to grow and promote the platform. And the majority of the capital that we raise through these deposit fees is going towards buybacks of the Rev token, where these Rev tokens are removed from circulation,
Mm-hmm.
and um, marketing. And this is when I brought up that we will have a sustained cash flow in order to pay for marketing and not just rely on the capital raise of pre-sale. This is one of the
Right.
ways that we'll be able to generate cash flow to pay for marketing. And
Good to know. Yep.
if I go to here, the white paper, you'll see that we broke it up: 30% buybacks, 30% marketing, 30% development, or to pay for development, and 10% for platform
Yep.
expenses. Now, platform expenses, what this is, we take all of the collateral that is staked on the website in the form of LP tokens and individual asset tokens. We use a rehypothecation contract, which takes that capital, which would be otherwise just sitting in the farm contracts, and we stake them in PancakeSwap's low risk, um, yield generating contract. So what that allows us to do is generate an extra 20 to 40% APY dependent on the pair, but let's just say on average through all the farms and all the pools, will be generating an extra 30% APY that we otherwise wouldn't be able to generate, and would just be, wasted potential. And
Yep.
we're generating that in the form of cake, which will then be sold for BUSD and used to buy back the Rev token, pay for marketing, and pay for developing. And the reason why this is important is because it will allow us to do L3 and the next layers
Yeah.
without needing to do additional raises potentially.
Right.
And it I should say, when I talk about that 10%, so 10% platform expenses, what I'm referring to there is there are extra transactions going on in the background to stake that those LP tokens and PancakeSwap, to collect the cake, to sell the cake for BUSD, to use that BUSD for buybacks. All of that is extra transactions going on in the background. Now, it's relatively cheap to pay for gas for Binance Smart Chain, but it is a couple dollars per transaction if you're dealing with more complex contracts and more complex transactions. And, if that's a couple people, it's fine. But with our farm, we're going to have thousands of people, thousands of transactions. That's thousands of dollars. So we need a sustainable way to pay for that gas. And that's where that 10% being put aside of yield that we generate on the back end is to pay for that. Any funds that we don't use specifically to pay for gas will go towards marketing and buybacks. But we just, this is how we ensure that our project is self-sustaining.
He's self-sustaining. Yep.
That's so important because when we migrate ownership of the farm to the farmers themselves and the people who have the governance token staked, essentially they are the new owners. They are the ones that are collecting their percentage of the deposit fee. They're collecting a percentage of the yield generated in the background. They're the ones that can vote on proposals to decide what the next step is for new additional layers, layer 3. And because of this, they could essentially run the farm into the future without the need for any centralized leadership at all. And we wanted to ensure that it's able to do this in a sustainable method. If it was able to do this, but there still needed to be some centralized figure ensuring that there's BNB in the wallet to pay for the gas for these additional transactions, that could be a fail point where, say, something happens to me and I'm not there to put that BNB in the wallet to have these additional transactions going on in the background. We overcame that by having essentially the platform itself take a percentage of the yield generated on the back end, sell the cake for BNB, send it to the wallet, which is paying for the gas for all those transactions on the platform to happen. This way, no matter what happens to me, the farm will be able to go on. It'll be able to pay for itself and be sustainable, and it will have the incentive for people to continue to promote it and to continue to to be active in it, because they're essentially financially benefiting as an owner of the farm to do this. And people who have seen Drip know how important it is to have a community-led marketing push, and having a referral program and having a decentralized ownership that allows the stakers of the governance token to earn rewards in BUSD based on new capital that comes into the farm ensures that we will have that community-led marketing push.
Community is taking over. Yep, that's right.
So that is how the deposit fees are handled and how they're used in L1, and how we're generating a ton of extra capital on the back end to use for buybacks and for marketing. And when I did the math, looking at what some of the other farms got that have substantially less interesting mechanics than us, and used a similar some of the same marketers that we'll use.
Mm.
The amount of yield that will generate on the back end through this rehypothecation uh, is likely going to be between $70,000 and $150,000 a week, which
Mm.
will go directly towards buying the Rev token and removing from circulation and
Right.
promoting the farm. That means banners on major platforms. That means having some of the major YouTubers that maybe we haven't had access to yet, getting them on board. A
Mhm.
lot of things that I'm really looking forward to doing and that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I'm always very, very fair with how I allocate capital and what percentages I take when it comes to paying for marketing and these kinds of things. And I pay for a lot of things out of my own pocket. This project, generating that much yield on the back end to be used for marketing, will allow uh, us to really take advantage of some of the marketing tools that we didn't have access to before because we didn't have the sustainable capital to be able to pay for that kind of marketing.
Right.
So I'm very excited about that
Yeah,
because
it is exciting.
I
Yeah.
have connections with some very big YouTubers, BitBoy and
Yeah.
like Box Miner and a
Mm.
lot of these really big names because I've worked with them in the past when I was advising some of the really big projects in the space.
Okay.
So I have connections with these YouTubers. I know the people that handle their
Wow.
scheduling and all that. It's just the fact that they cost so much money that you
Right.
need to have sustainable capital that justifies getting them on board. And I believe with this project, finally we will have that kind of capital.
Right.
So it's
Yep.
very exciting for
Yep.
me because I get to
Yeah.
even more show, what my network can do and what we can do
Mhm.
as a team.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
very exciting. Uh,